Welcome back to Random History. I'm your navigator as we explore the little-known events and people that make history such an amazing subject. The events I delve into are probably not ones you learned about in school. These are the ones that when you do hear about them, you're likely to think that they could not possibly be real. But they are. One of the most successful movie franchises of all time has to be the Marvel Avengers series. The movies are iconic. There are so many memorable lines and scenes in the series. Most people do not know of the real Avengers, however. These men did not fight aliens or try to undo the snap. These men set out to avenge what is arguably the worst genocide in history. They hunted down and prosecuted the Nazis that participated in the Holocaust. Politicians like to throw the word Nazi out to describe political opponents, or, more accurately, anyone that disagrees with them. Unfortunately, the word is so overused today that it's lost a lot of the meaning and impact. Nazis killed people. Period. They were despicable people that committed horrible atrocities. As much as one political party hates the other in the United States, neither side has stooped to the level of Nazi. I'm straying from the story. Sorry about that. Today's episode deals with the true Avengers. These individuals are responsible for bringing some of the worst people ever to walk the earth to justice. They were the Nazi hunters. Today's true hero was an American soldier that survived a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. He emigrated to the United States, enlisted in the Army, and while serving in the Korean War, earned the Congressional Medal of Honor. His war record alone is a story of perseverance and courage that would cause even Captain America to pause. When you add the fact that he was also a Holocaust survivor, he becomes even more than just a hero. He is much more of a superhero than Thor, Iron Man, or even Captain America. Following the end of World War II, the world was left to grapple with the atrocities committed by the Nazi regime. While the Nuremberg trials sought to bring justice to high-ranking officials, numerous lower-level perpetrators escaped justice and vanished into obscurity. In response to these disappearances, a group of determined individuals, often referred to as Nazi hunters, emerged to track down and bring these fugitives to justice. Today's episode examines the motivations, methods, and impact of these hunters, highlighting their crucial role in confronting the lingering shadow of Nazism. After World War II, the international community faced the monumental task of addressing the crimes of the Nazi regime. The Nuremberg trials, held from 1945 to 1946, prosecuted major war criminals, focusing primarily on high-ranking officials. However, many lower-ranking Nazi officials, SS members, and collaborators managed to evade prosecution. As historian David C. Rappaport notes, the trials were seen as a significant step toward accountability, yet they left numerous perpetrators unpunished. This gap in justice motivated various individuals and organizations to take it upon themselves to locate and apprehend these fugitives. The earliest efforts to track down Nazi war criminals were often undertaken by survivors of the Holocaust and former partisans. These individuals were driven by a desire for justice and a need to confront their own traumas. One of the most notable figures in this early movement was Simon Wiesenthal, a Jewish Holocaust survivor who dedicated his life to tracking down Nazi perpetrators. After the war, Wiesenthal established the Jewish Historical Documentation Center in Linz, Austria, which became the hub for gathering information on Nazi war criminals. Wiesenthal's efforts led to the capture of several high-profile Nazis, including Adolf Eichmann, who was instrumental in the coordination of the Holocaust. Wiesenthal's relentless pursuit of justice is encapsulated in his assertion, "For me, the greatest crime of the Nazis was not the murder of 6 million Jews, but the fact that they wanted to erase all traces of them." His work inspired others to join the hunt. As the Cold War emerged, government agencies also became involved in the hunt for Nazis. The U.S. Army and various intelligence agencies, including the CIA and FBI, initially showed interest in locating Nazis, particularly those who could provide intelligence on the Soviet Union. In fact, Many former Nazis were recruited into the intelligence roles due to their experience in counterintelligence and espionage. One notable example is the case of Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, who was protected by U.S. intelligence agencies after the war due to his anti-communist stance. However, as awareness of these covert operations grew, a backlash emerged. Human rights organizations and Jewish advocacy groups demanded accountability for such collaborations, which ultimately led to renewed efforts to hunt down escaped war criminals. In 1979, the U.S. Department of Justice established the Office of Special Investigations, or OSI, tasked with identifying and prosecuting Nazi war criminals residing in the United States. The OSI played a crucial role in apprehending notable figures such as John Demjanjuk, who was accused of being a guard at the Sobibor extermination camp. The case garnered significant media attention and exemplified the complexities involved in prosecuting war criminals decades after their crimes. Several high-profile cases highlight the termination of Nazi hunters. As I said earlier, one of the most dramatic was the capture of Adolf Eichmann in 1960. After living in Argentina under an assumed identity, Eichmann was apprehended by Israeli agents, including the legendary Mossad operative Isser Harel. His trial in Jerusalem marked a turning point in public awareness of the Holocaust, highlighting the brutality of Nazi policies and the personal testimonies of survivors. Another significant case was the pursuit of Joseph Mengele, the infamous Angel of Death, who conducted horrific experiments on prisoners at Auschwitz. After the war, Mengele fled to South America, where he evaded capture for decades. The pursuit of Mengele became a symbol of the broader struggle for justice, inspiring filmmakers and authors to tell his story. The efforts of the Nazi hunters have had lasting impacts on the public consciousness and legal frameworks. Their work has shed light on the complexities of post-war justice and the moral imperatives that drive individuals to seek accountability. In many cases, these hunters became advocates for the Holocaust education and remembrance, emphasizing the importance of confronting history to prevent future atrocities. Moreover, the actions of the Nazi hunters have influenced international law and human rights advocacy. Their efforts highlighted the need for mechanisms to pursue justice for war crimes and crimes against humanity, paving the way for future tribunals and the establishment of international norms regarding accountability. The legacy of the Nazi hunters is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and the relentless pursuit of justice. In the aftermath of World War II, these individuals and organizations emerged to confront the horrors of the Holocaust and bring the perpetrators to justice. Their work not only illuminated the dark corners of history, but also reinforced the moral imperative to seek accountability for such heinous crimes. As the world continues to grapple with the issues of justice and human rights, the efforts of the Nazi hunters serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of remembering the past and standing against injustice in all its forms. I cannot imagine the amount of faith in God that survivors of the Shoah, or Holocaust, must have had to survive the inhumane treatment they faced at the hands of the Nazis. To think that parts of our U.S. government harbored some of these barbarians is a massive stain on our country. The U.S. is definitely not perfect. We never claimed to be. We are, however, challenged in our very founding documents to strive to form a more perfect union. Despite our flaws, people from all over the world risk everything to come to this imperfect country. They come not because we are perfect, but because we are constantly striving to better ourselves as a nation. We are the home to some of the greatest people in history. Today's true hero was a prisoner in the Mauthausen concentration camp in Hungary. He faced incredible hardships, but when the camp was liberated, he became determined to move to America and repay the debt he felt he owed to the country that freed him. He is today's true hero. Corporal Tibor Rubin's heroism and sacrifices during the Korean War stand out as a testament to resilience, loyalty, and selfless bravery, solidifying his legacy as one of the most remarkable soldiers in the U.S. military history. Born in Hungary, Rubin survived the Mauthausen concentration camp during World War II and emigrated to the United States, where he enlisted in the Army. driven by a desire to give back to his adopted country. His acts of valor during the Korean War, as well as the discrimination he faced within the military, shaped Rubin's journey toward recognition and reflected deeply inspiring narrative of courage, compassion, and persistence. Rubin's story begins in Hungary, where he was born in 1929 to a Jewish family. In 1944, during the Holocaust, the Nazis captured Rubin and his family, and he was sent to Mauthausen, a notorious concentration camp in Austria. Rubin survived the ordeal, enduring starvation, forced labor, and horrific conditions, all while clinging to the hope of liberation. When U.S. forces freed him in 1945, Rubin was inspired by the American soldiers and resolved to serve in the U.S. military if he ever got the chance. After emigrating to the United States in 1948, Rubin enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1950 and was soon deployed to fight in the Korean War. As a soldier, Rubin's courage was unmatched. Despite the frequent anti-Semitic abuse he endured from some of his fellow soldiers and even his superiors, Rubin remained focused on his duty. During the Battle of Unsan in October 1950, he was tasked with holding a hill while his unit retreated under heavy enemy fire. Rubin single-handedly defended the position, successfully holding back the North Korean forces despite being overwhelmingly outnumbered. His relentless bravery allowed the rest of his unit to escape to safety. Rubin was wounded several times but refused to abandon his post, exemplifying extraordinary resilience and commitment to his comrades. Rubin's heroism continued even after he was captured and imprisoned in a North Korean POW camp. As a prisoner of war, he displayed immense selflessness, risking his life to help fellow prisoners survive. Rubin scavenged for food, stole from enemy stores, and shared his rations with those too weak to feed themselves. In the harsh conditions of the POW camp, his experience surviving Mauthausen became crucial. His determination and ingenuity kept many of his fellow soldiers alive, despite the terrible hardships. Rubin's actions in the POW camp were particularly significant because they demonstrate his compassion and enduring sense of duty to others, qualities that remained undiminished by his own suffering. However, Rubin's journey to recognition was prolonged and marred by prejudice. Despite his acts of valor, his superior officer deliberately blocked his nominations for the Medal of Honor, which he had been recommended for on several occasions. According to some reports, this discrimination was due to anti-Semitic bias within the ranks. Rubin's commendations were often either downgraded or dismissed, and his heroism went unrecognized for decades. In 2005, after years of advocacy and review, Tibor Rubin was finally awarded the Medal of Honor by President George W. Bush, making him one of the few Holocaust survivors to receive the highest U.S. military decoration. During the award ceremony, Bush acknowledged Rubin's bravery, highlighting both his heroic actions in Korea and the strength he exhibited during his years of delayed recognition. This recognition was a pivotal moment for both Rubin and for many of the others whose sacrifices went unacknowledged due to discrimination. Rubin's Medal of Honor citation commends him for his gallantry, loyalty, and valor above and beyond the call of duty. Corporal Tibor Rubin's story is a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the impact of resilience and courage. His journey from a concentration camp survivor to a U.S. Army hero exemplifies extraordinary perseverance and compassion. Rubin's heroism was not only in his actions on the battlefield, but in his unyielding dedication to his fellow soldiers, even in the face of personal adversity and prejudice. His legacy continues to inspire, serving as a testament to the courage of those who, despite immense hardships, choose to stand by their values and aid those in need. Rubin's Medal of Honor stands as a symbol of overdue recognition, representing not just his bravery, but the triumph of resilience, duty, and compassion over discrimination and adversity. Corporal Rubin was truly an amazing man, and his story is absolutely inspiring. It is unfortunate that the same sentiments that locked him and so many like him up in concentration and death camps kept him from being recognized closer to the actions that earned him the Medal of Honor are so prevalent today. Even worse is that nearly 80 years after the end of the Holocaust, we still see the same anti-Semitic rhetoric in the world. especially here in the United States. It is so disheartening that the party that is the home to so much of the anti-Semitism is the same party calling their opponents Nazis. Let's hope that people like Simon Wiesenthal and Tibor Rubin will rise up and stand against the hateful rhetoric being thrown around the political world. This brings us to the end of another episode of Random History. I hope you enjoyed it and will come back and listen to future episodes. If you'd like to view the transcript or sources for this episode, click on the link in the description. You can also make suggestions for future topics by clicking that same link. As always, I want to thank Argos Media for producing Random History and to thank my wife for her continued support and inspiration. Until next time, make some history of your own. Navigator out.